Hey everyone, it is Jamie with Mad Lit Musings, and I'm already smiling and laughing because I've been talking to this guy for the last half an hour, and we just decided to press record. But I've got DJ Williams with me back in the studio because we're not in the same studio. That made no sense.
Jamie, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. We had the 30-minute conversation. None of it can air, but it was very entertaining.
It was. It was extremely entertaining. And it is not recorded anywhere, which is probably a good thing.
Well, it's good. I think we fixed all the world's problems in
We did. We
about
did. Yeah.
29 minutes and change.
I
That's
think
good.
so. World peace will be here by December, so we've got it. We've got it made.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that is so funny.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you are the author of Hunt for Eden's Star, which I've read and is an extremely amazing book. And you've got a new one coming out November 7th, which is the sequel, Secrets of the Highlands. And now tell me just a little bit how you classify this, because you have a fun way of describing your own books.
I would say that the series to me is Harry Potter meets a young Indiana Jones meets National Treasure. And instead of all the magic, it's all supernatural,
Yeah.
and the characters bounce between the real world and like other realms. So you kind of have a lot of the world building and stuff. And that's my pitch when we're talking to all the bookstores. It's like, you guys like Harry Potter? Yes. You like Indiana Jones? Yes. You like National Treasure? Yes. Okay, done deal.
Good
So
deal. Yeah. Well, and you hit all the top ones for me, so that's probably why I like the books so much.
you know what? I was surprised. I did a tour at Barnes and Noble, and talking to so many of kind of the teens coming through the stores. National Treasure, they totally know what that movie is. I thought maybe it's too old of a reference, but when I brought it up, they're totally like,
Yeah.
yes. They're like, what?
Yeah. My kids are under the age of 14 and they have seen the National Treasure movies. And we were just at Mount Rushmore and they're like, I wonder if that's where they filmed that spot and that,
Yeah, it's amazing. I was like, who knew?
Well, those
That's
types
so
of
funny.
treasure hunt type movies or books, they get into your head. And there's something instinctual, I think, in all of us that we want to solve a mystery. But then when there's treasure at the end of it, it's even better.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feeds something.
Well, and for me, one of the challenges has been it's that treasure hunt, and then certain characters in the series have different gifts that they have. Jack, he's kind of our main guy. He doesn't have gifts like the others. So that's been the biggest challenge because you can't get him in like a chase scene or fighting against the villains. And yeah, we'll sort that out by just some supernatural move, like
Right.
it's like he's got to figure out, how do I get out of this situation
Yeah.
as a real person.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of the things I like about Jack. Like he's surrounded by different characters with different gifts, and a lot of those gifts he's not even either A, clued into, or
Mm-hmm.
B, once he is, he's like, what?
Yeah.
What? I
Yeah.
don't even know what to say about that. So he's just like this really relatable guy, but at the same time, I love the passion and conviction he has for what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it resonates with people.
With Jack, what I think part of the fun of writing his storyline and him as a character too has been, some of the other characters, kind of their destiny was like determined for them since they were
Mm-hmm.
young.
Mm-hmm.
And with Jack, he's barely trying to keep up with everybody. Like he's not thinking, what's my destiny,
Right.
2 days from now. He's literally like, I'm just trying to keep up and not get taken out.
Not die. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Priority
think,
number one, live.
yeah. And I think it's one of those things for the teen readers, especially if you're getting out of high school and you're starting to go to college, like you have that feeling like I have to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, you don't have to have it all figured out, because guess what? Those of us that have lived a longer life realize nothing is guaranteed.
Mm-mm.
Your path changes, your journey takes twists and turns, but that's part of the adventure.
It is. It is. Well, and that's one of the things too that I like about your books. I mean, there's definitely faith elements if you're looking for it in the story. It's woven through in threads. But they're stories that would resonate with any young adult from any background as well.
Mhm.
And I love that.
Yeah, I think for when I started, and I think you're from the same point of view too. It's like I want to write stories that, yes, have a message and a theme to them, but I want anyone that walks into a store or goes online, anyone can pick up the books and read them
Right.
and not feel like they're getting hammered,
Right.
with a heavy-handed message,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there's opportunities where it opens up questions, where they see how Jack deals with something, or they see how Vince handles something.
Mm-hmm.
Like they see the characters react and they can relate, but you're not just, pounding them. Because I remember being a teenager, believe it or not,
Yeah.
but I had to hear my dad preach like every weekend, and so you're like, okay, all right, that's your thing, you know what I mean? And so giving them an outlet
Yeah.
where, yes, you can speak into their life, but it's done in a way that's entertaining
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully engaging. And uh, with everything that's out there right now, especially in the young adult space, if we don't put something out that is all those things, entertaining, engaging, edge of your seat,
Mm-hmm.
mysterious, with characters that readers can fall in love with. If we don't do that, the alternative is where they're gonna
Oh yeah.
go, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it's like I love fiction. I mean, not necessarily speaking about Secrets of the Highlands at this moment, very
Mm-hmm.
specifically, but the YA fiction and fiction with faith in it, that organic growth toward faith is
Mm-hmm.
what's realistic even in real life. Like there's some people that they have those, come to Jesus moments in the tent revival meeting, and I don't want to discount that. But
Yeah.
I think there's more people like you and me who our faith, we've been exposed to it at whatever point in time of our life, but to make it our own and to make that relationship with God our own, it has to grow organically. And your books show that
Mm-hmm.
in a way that I really appreciate, because you see the characters growing toward their own journey of seeking truth. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not this instantaneous, oh, I'm in love with the truth.
Yeah. Well, it's that idea, you have the summer camp experience
Mm-hmm.
where like your life, boom, in a second is like impacted from the faith side. So if I was looking at Jack's, trajectory, there was a moment in his life where boom, now you're forced with, do you believe that there's something more out there?
Right.
But from that point on, and I think even, for me, I can talk for myself, like my faith journey, it's been a journey. It wasn't like I had that moment and then it's like, yeah, I'm all in. I'm never gonna,
Right.
have any issues. Life's gonna be great. It's like, no, it's like that's like the genesis of your faith, really, when that
Mm-hmm.
happens. And then everything that happens after that, it's learning how to walk out that relationship.
Yeah.
And that's like a forever thing,
Oh, it is. It is. And I look at the relationships that I have that have, human relationships that have lasted the longest. And it's a slow, methodical journey, and getting through valleys and getting through deeper valleys and deeper valleys. And
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that are the lasting ones that I'm willing to give my life for, so to speak, like my kids, my husband, my
Yeah.
parents, that type of thing. And you look at that in the faith journey, and it's so much the same. And I see that symbolized in The Hunt for Eden Star and now The Secrets of the Highlands. You've got kids, teenagers, young adults
Mm-hmm.
going through that similar process with their own convictions in this world that you've created, which is so cool.
Well, from my kind of my life experience is sometimes you can feel like I need a lot of friends, but what I've learned over the years is you need a small group of friends that stick with you for
Yeah.
30 years or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
And what I tried to do with Jack and that whole crew is they're at the beginning of that,
Mm-hmm.
But if I was picturing beyond the series,
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Emma and Will and all these guys 30 years from now, that those relationships would still grow and be, and
Right.
evolve and all that. And I feel like that's needed for the young adults because, with social media, with like TikTok and Instagram, it's all the highlight reels of life, and it also at the same time can isolate someone in those years
Right.
because you don't feel like, well, I don't know where I fit in, or I'm not, I don't look as slick as this person, or I'm not as successful as this person. Like, those are things we all deal with like the rest of our life. And
Right.
so if you have that core group of friends that are in your camp,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they'll encourage you. And then they're also going to be the ones that tell you when you're messing up,
Yeah. 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 And the ones that you feel like you have to listen to, even though you don't like what they're saying, but you're not going to ditch them because they said something critical, you
Yeah.
know?
It's like yeah, totally. I mean, there's moments in Secrets of the Highlands where Jack and Emma and them, they're not all on the same page,
Right.
and it's
Right.
like, so it isn't like they're like the Musketeers, where they're like, hey, we're all in it together.
Right.
It's like
Right. Right.
there's a point where they all have to make, I forget the line, I should probably know this, but I forget the line in there, but there's a line from one of them where they're basically saying, here's the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Now each of us have to choose, you know,
Mm, yeah.
don't just go with the group. Like
Right.
you've got to choose. And if whatever choice you make, everyone's behind you,
Yep. Yep.
and yeah, I mean, hopefully there's little things like that through the series that kind of resonate
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the teens.
I think it's cool too. The other thing I was thinking about with this series and such is the way you've created the world and the world development. And this might sound kind of weird, but I think it is relatable to young adults regardless of the culture or the region that they're located in. Like, I'm in the Midwest, you're out in California, and then
Mhm.
there's people overseas, and this has international elements to it that are super cool. But then you've got these other worlds that they kind of get sucked into. And there's a lot of regional and diverse areas, which I think makes the books appealing
Mhm.
as
Well,
well.
that's good to know. All right, let me check
Yeah.
that off the
Yeah, there
list.
you go. Check it off. You're like regionally
Accomplished.
diverse. There's a new one for you.
Oh my gosh. Well, what's interesting too is when I write, this is like totally bad writing habits. I'm going to confess this one. So I don't outline at all, ever.
Oh, me neither. I hear
And
you.
so, like the world building, especially in the Beacon Hill series, the world building is kind of funny because I'm like, I'm just gonna dream it up and we're just gonna make, and, you know what I mean? It's literally, that
Yeah.
isn't like, well, let's plan it out, let's map it out. It's
Right.
like, nope, they're going here, and this is what this place is gonna look like, and probably the diversity, I would say, probably goes back to a lot of the characters in the book are based off of friends I grew up with
Oh,
when I
sure. Yeah.
lived in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I think it was just being around like that melting pot of cultures
Yeah.
has kind of just stayed with me. And so,
Yeah.
I'm always conscious about where can we take these guys, drop them in to, maybe it's in Japan, right? You drop them in Japan, and out of the group, some of them, it's no problem. Natural,
Right.
boom, they hit the ground running.
Right.
If you're Jack, you don't know what's happening half the time. So you're just like, what? Where
I
are we?
know. I love
What are
that.
we doing? And so that part's been fun for
Yeah.
sure to
Yeah.
do it.
No, I think that's great. The other thing I like about your characters is, okay, this sounds weird. There's not a lot of character description as far as like physical features.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because I have really specific pictures in my mind of
Mm-hmm.
what Emma is as far as a person, her, hair color, her ethnicity, her, height, her stature. And
Yeah.
you don't really define it. So it can be whatever I want, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And I've got, so some of the characters are African American, some of them are Asian in my viewpoint, some of them are Hispanic, and I just love it because I've got like this diverse imagery in my head that you're
Mm-hmm.
allowing me to have in the book.
We talked about this earlier, and I think this is where it comes from. Is you were talking about like when you write, you kind of watch it as a movie in your mind
Right.
before you start writing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little bit like writing like a script. In the script, you're putting in movement and dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not putting in necessarily Emma is 5 feet tall.
Right.
You're not putting all those things in there. And so, for me, that's kind of how I do it. Like, I'll picture the scene that's playing out, and I want to give you just enough where you're like, okay, she's got, we know she's got sleeve tattoos or whatever,
Yeah.
like, but I never get into describing what those tattoos are,
Right.
but it's part of her story. So then
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
someone's imagination's like, well, what were those stories? What is that? And
Right. Right.
I want to leave enough room. Plus, I'm probably like a little bit of a lazy writer where I'm like, I don't want to write all
I don't
those
want to do that.
descriptions.
Yeah. No, we don't want to go there. That's too much. Well, if you ever need to know what her sleeve tattoos are, I can tell you.
Oh,
I've
see,
got it
that
all
would be
planned out.
perfect.
It's all scoped out and mapped. So
Oh, come on.
that'll
That'd
be
be
your
awesome.
spin-off, because her sleeve tattoos actually in my brain are a map to other areas with
Oh
other
my gosh.
things. So there's some spin-off fan fiction. Fan
Come
fiction.
on, let's do it.
I'm
Come
doing
on.
it.
That's so funny.
Well, these interviews always go so fast. We've already been chatting for 20 minutes, so I'm going to need to wrap it up. But
Yeah.
best way for readers to find out more, because you got a lot of stuff out there for fans.
Yeah, I would say best place to go would be thebeaconhillseries.com. And we've put up all kinds of content. We shot a web series that came out as part of book one, kind
Mm-hmm.
of dovetailed into book two. We may end up shooting another season of that. We've had almost 2 million views of the web series and the trailers. So
Yep.
that's been super fun. People, from all over, which has been
Yeah.
really cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be the best place because that's where we're putting all the new stuff when it
That's
comes out.
awesome. Sounds good. Well, and you texted me the trailer for Secrets of the Highlands, and I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't actually the movie trailer, because I'm like,
Oh man, me
shucks, this
too.
is too cool.
Me too. I wanted it to be the movie trailer too. Oh my gosh. One day,
One
fingers
day.
crossed, we're
Right.
hoping.
Well, everybody definitely check it out. If you've got young adults in your life, perfect time to buy these up for Christmas, because these are the best Christmas presents for readers. And I think they're going to be under the tree for a few of my nieces and nephews this Christmas. So thanks
Oh,
for being with us. As always, we have a blast. So come again.
awesome. Jamie, thank you.
All right.
All right.